The following broadcast is brought to you by Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome to the C. Jane Sell podcast,
a relatable sales podcast for your weekly dose of sanity. I'm your host, Chelsea Dupre.
and I'm your host, Lee Nevis.
Hey everybody, I don't know if you are getting ready for work or driving to work or you're having a U day, but we have some really great things to talk about. This is Chelsea speaking.
This is Lee.
Hey girl.
Hello.
So, we want to talk about things that we find to be very, what would you say?
I would say pressures that are put on women.
Yes.
Especially, not only in business, but we also want to kind of extend
Babies!
Yes.
Oh, did I say that? Yeah. Babies. We're talking babies.
We're talking the baby talk today.
Baby talk.
And we want this to be extremely inclusive to mothers, to women who maybe are dealing with infertility issues, to women who just flat out don't want to have babies at all, to women who don't know what they want.
Yeah.
I think that every single woman out there, it doesn't matter if you want 10 kids or if you want 0 kids,
or if you want dogs, cats.
Exactly. Whatever
birds.
Kind of mom or woman you want to be.
Fiddle figs.
Chelsea just became a mother to a fiddle fig. So
About to maybe be a mother of 2 more. I don't know.
Maybe 2 more.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. It's fine. But we are... I think that lately we're just kind of... I'm feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about my situation and you share yours because they're both different.
100%.
Okay, so I am a working woman. Okay, working woman. I got guitar lessons at night. I have this thing called C. Jane freaking Sell. I have a job that is not a 9 to 5. It's more like a 6 to, I don't know, maybe 9, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 10. It's really hard to say. And then, we deal with the hair gig, the Monizzle. I mean, I have a lot going on. But I'm also married. I've been married for, oh my goodness, going on 4 years in September. And, the most often asked question is, when are we going to have babies? Well, that's a great question. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, I want to have kids. But the other part of me is like, well, I want to work. And the other part of me is like, well, when I have kids, I don't want to work. I want to raise my kids. I don't want someone to raise my kids. But then the other part of me is like, well, what if I do want to work and have kids and have someone help me? Does that make me a bad mom? Am I a bad mom? But I want to be a career woman. I like to make money. I like to have my own money. I like to be working. I like the power that I feel that I can take care of myself. But then I'm like, but I'm getting older. At 35, ladies, your uterus, I think, actually technically is geriatric, is the medical term. Someone wants to, I think 35, your womanly areas become deemed geriatric.
I feel like that might be old, though. I feel like that might be an old theory.
Possibly.
Because I think that there's a lot of stuff you
don't
can do
quote
now.
me on it.
Yeah.
But someone said that, and it's always stuck in my head.
My mom had me at 36, and I'm not.
Love it.
You're
great.
Hopefully I don't
Maybe
have
that's
a lot
the golden
of issues. Maybe that's why I am the way that I am. Because my mom had me at 36. Anyways, but no, for sure. Oh, at some point, your uterus deteriorates.
And then I'm like, okay, well, when am I going to do this? Or what? That's what I have in my head.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to have kids. Yes, I want to be a mommy. Do I want 1? Yeah. Do I want 2? Maybe. Do I want 3?
Yeah.
I'm not getting a minivan, so I don't know. That's another pressure, minivans.
You can get an SUV.
I want to be like that MILF in like the Range Rover. Yes. That's what I want.
Anyways.
But, and then I think, okay, well, yeah, everyone's like, it's so worth it to have kids. Okay. Then your weekend is gone. You become a slave you become a snack bia, basically.
Completely.
Which.
Tournaments, baseball tournaments, soccer tournaments, basketball tournaments.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, am I going to be able to be there for that?
Yeah.
And then it's just a lot. It's a lot. Like, I feel like a woman's body is so beautiful and amazing that we can hold and create life.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty incredible.
That is like probably one of the most incredible things that a woman can do.
But you have to suffer for 9 months and then push it out your body. And that
is terrifying.
Is extremely terrifying.
I'm so scared of birth.
And then what if you find out, I don't know, maybe I can't have kids, which also terrifies me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whole thing of birth control, which is a podcast all on its own.
For sure.
Controversial
issue. We're not talking about that today.
We're not talking about that today. But those all tie in together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a big freaking deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have kids one day. I don't know when that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress.
It is a lot of pressure, especially when you're working. Because
yes.
I think that there's a lot of people out there who it's just such a common question that people don't think about how much pressure they're putting on you when they ask.
It's almost like, how's the weather?
Exactly.
When are you going to have a baby?
Completely. It's yes.
I like your shoes. Your house is cute.
When are you
having a baby?
Are you going to occupy your uterus anytime soon? What are you going to do? Like, no. Like, it's becoming a very common question, and I wish that it wasn't as common of a question because it's so complex and
it's really personal.
It's very personal because
you guys know how babies are made?
Yes.
Behind closed doors.
Exactly.
So let's not talk about it.
And not only that, but I mean, I've had friends who have dealt with like serious infertility issues, and it's very sensitive, and they don't like talking about it. And like, I mean, friends who literally like would seriously like, die to have a baby, but they can't. So it's such a hard subject to talk about. And I think that it's even more so, I think that when you want to have a career, because I think that there's this weird stigma of, okay, well, if you don't want to have, let's say you don't want to have babies or you can't have babies, you're then expected as a woman to be really focused on your career. Like you can't just like pursue your passions, or you can't just like pursue like whatever you want to pursue, or just pursue being happy in general. Like it's like, oh well, you're not like a crazy businesswoman, like why don't you just have babies then? Like or why, if you're not having babies, why aren't you like this insane career woman? And I think it's this weird dichotomy that you're kind of just like, there's just so much pressure being put on you, and it's really hard to deal with. And like for me, I mean, I'm kind of personally, like, you know, I'm married. I don't want to have babies. I just don't. For me, I think that if I ever do have babies, I would like to adopt because I don't have that maternal need. I mean, I'm surprised everyone. I'm going to turn 30 this year. So that's how old
30,
I am.
flirty, and thriving.
Yes. I've been waiting my entire life to say that. So I will be very excited when I can say
we're
that.
having a party.
We are having a
It'll
party.
be themed that.
13 going on 30.
13 going on 30. Yeah, beautiful.
That's the one. So I'm 29, but there's nothing inside me that wants to get pregnant. So for me, I am totally down and okay with adopting. Yeah. Because I think that like, if I don't feel that way, then I mean, there's probably a kid out there that needs you, that needs me. And so it's like, if I don't have this crazy maternal need to have my own, then I'm probably meant to adopt.
Or be my children's fairy godmother.
I can do that too.
It's a thing.
Exactly.
I like it.
But like, I'm also in a point now where I'm kind of trying to like figure out a career and like trying to figure out like this new pathway for me. And there's so much pressure, though, because I don't want to have kids. I feel like everyone's like, okay, well, what are you going to do?
They kind of frown upon you, too. Yeah. At least I feel.
Oh, for sure. Because I'm just trying to, like, figure myself out. Like, I've always been a category, you know? Like, where it's been like, oh, Lee, she's acting's her thing. Or, like, Lee, soccer is her thing. And now it's like, I don't really know what my thing is. So I'm
being
feeling...
you is your thing.
Completely. And that That was a good segue, because I think that's kind of the point of why we wanted to talk about this, is because this is a struggle that everyone deals with. But what I'm learning is that you don't have to be that thing. You don't have to be like, oh, that's, that's frickin' what's her face? She's the, I was trying to think of a really good example, and I just, okay, I'll use myself again as an example, because I couldn't think of a girl's name or a career.
Carol,
that's the...
Lupe?
Carol Lupe. She's the Mary Kay lady. Like that's her identity.
So I love that so much.
Anyways, what I'm saying is, like, I am trying to become like Lee, just like the girl who's like happy, or like the girl who just is like kind to people, or the girl who likes to help people out, rather than being defined by my career. And it's really hard to do that when you're not having babies, because then everyone is like,
well, then you're like, am I going to regret not having babies? If I don't have babies, who's going to raise me? Where am I going to live? Am I going to go in a nursing home? Can I afford a nursing home?
I know. No, I think that this is a okay, here's a business idea, and I want some of the C. Janers out there that are going to listen to this. I just named our fan group, by the way. C. Janers. Our fan group.
There's like Janers.
It's literally like my mom listening to this, like 2 of our friends.
Hi, Mom.
This is a business idea that I want someone to make. I want to make, like, you know how there's like retirement communities? Mm-hmm. Well, I want like retirement like condos. But I want it to be, like, really fun and, like, luxury apartments.
I'm sure that's somewhere in Florida.
It's somewhere. It has to be.
Or Palm Springs.
Yes, but I want it to be everywhere. That you just go, but you still, like, you pay rent like a normal person, and you can go and you can work there if you're able-bodied. This isn't, like, a retirement, like, where it's like a nursing home. I'm saying, like, if you want to
It's like adults only, but it's,
correct,
like, retired only.
Correct.
Find your own nightclub.
Yes. And so you go there and you work, and it's like, I don't know, somebody from Humana, please, I don't know, a CEO or someone make this, because this is the life that I want to live if I don't have kids. Yeah. I want to be around people like me and that are in their 60s.
I think once we get that, we'll find our people, because...
Yeah, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Make this. Thank you. That's your idea for the day. Business idea. Someone invent it.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
And this is what I tell myself. Everybody who tells you or asks you or puts in their unsolicited advice, they have their life. You have your free agency to choose what you would like to do. They have their free agency to do what they would like to do, so they get to live their life and you get to live yours. Mm-hmm. And right now, the oves aren't screaming, hey, I'm lonely. Give me some babies. They're not. I'm waiting. I'm hoping that one day they're going to be like baby fever, but it's not happening yet. Mm-hmm. Just isn't.
If it's not happening, don't force it to
I'm not going to force it. And I think, I believe in a higher power, and I think what'll happen will happen when it's supposed to happen, and that will be the thing. But you can't let people pressure you or make you feel some kind of way.
Completely. Because it is, I think that a lot of times, too, that we over-exaggerate what we think other people want from us.
So much so.
I'm really bad about doing that.
Yeah.
Where I feel all this, like, societal pressures are real, and some people do put pressure on you, but I think that we tend to over-exaggerate it a lot because of our own insecurities.
Yes.
And I think that there's a lot of pressures that we can relieve ourselves of that are completely internal. Mm-hmm. That we can literally sit down and be like, okay, this person just asked me, when are you going to have babies? Why aren't you going to have babies? Well, do they actually really care? Are they really putting pressure on me?
Or they don't have any questions
to ask? They really just don't know what else to say, so that's just what they bring up because they're just like really like socially awkward, and maybe they just don't know what to ask. So I think there's a lot of times that we can not be so upset over what other people say and what other people think, because when we do get upset, it's very internal, and we can sit and be like, okay, am I getting upset over that because I personally don't know what I want, and I'm upset with myself because I don't know what I want? Or maybe this is what I do want, and it's the total opposite of what they just asked, and maybe it's like we need to be more understanding because maybe they didn't know and maybe they didn't realize this, and maybe we can just be like,
or maybe we just need to come up with like the most dope way to answer that question.
yes, I know.
Well, we will take input. DM us individually or on CJ and Cell, and DM us what you say, because I would be really interested, because right now I'm like, I'm a dog mom, and people are like, okay, that's weird, but
I know, and then I have to explain to people that I have 3 cats, and then they're like, okay, weirdo, like, it's like, no, I'm a cat mom, I have 3 of them, whatever, his name is Carol.
I always tell myself, too, I'm like, if I had kids, I couldn't just get up and leave, but then I'm like, Chelsea, it's Friday night, you just ordered a pizza, and you're watching live PD. Is this really a problem?
How much am I actually getting up and leaving?
Am I really going out and, like, getting buck, like, with my friend? No.
Right.
So, I'm usually like, if you need to go hang out, like, let me know, I'll babysit.
Yeah.
Freak. I'm 27. What is wrong with me?
Nothing.
I moved to the burbs.
But it's beautiful, and that's for you, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is once you found that person, or maybe you're a free spirit, you're the one that gets to look back on your life, and it's your story. And it's what you created. That's the truth of it.
It is.
And so, whatever.
I love that.
Whatever. We just need to come up with a really cool thing to say to people.
We do. Like a really good comeback that's not
Maybe I'll just start talking. When they ask me, I'll just look down at my ovaries and be like, when's it going to happen? You guys, knock, knock. You ready? They said no. Try next week, though. We'll see.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But, I mean, my mom and I have had this conversation. She's really supportive. She's just, it's your life. It's you. You get to choose. You get to do all that. I think partially because she's, like, really sad that she won't get to see them. Like, she gets to see all the other ones. So she's like, well, I can't be like, I'm a bad grandma because I don't get to see them, because there's just no one there to see. So it's maybe that's what it is. But regardless, she's really supportive, which is really nice.
That's good. Well, I think that, for me, I think that family pressures too are probably kind of the worst kind. Like, I thank God, at least on my side of the family, my mom and dad, I'm their only kid. You know what I mean? So they both had me at the exact same age. They were only a couple months apart, like in their 30s, mid-30s. And so they get it. Yeah. Like, so they've never pressured me. But I think that I've seen it happen a lot where parents just want grandkids. Yeah. And so they just want their kids they don't really take into account. And it's much more difficult to disappoint your parents than it is to disappoint some random person who's just asking you this question, So I think that, it's real, and I feel for those people, because
See, my problem isn't like the adults in my family. Like, they don't really ask me just because it's been a while, and I think they're like, okay, whatever, Chelsea, like, you do you, Kentucky girl. But it's the little kids. Those little monsters. Hey, Chelsea, when are you having babies? I don't know. Why? When are we going to have cousins to play? I don't know. Well, why? Well,
oh my gosh.
Do you really want to know?
Little kids can be mean.
They can't. They just want me to have a baby so they can have a baby to play with.
It's just have no filter, and they just don't.
My friend's daughter, we were at the park. She's like, so when are you going to have kids? And I was like, well, I don't know. Well, what are you good for? Well, I make a mean peanut butter and jelly, if we're being honest.
Like, first off,
there's these 2 little things called Remy and Bentley, and they really need me.
Those are her dogs, by the way.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I think that's a whole nother subject of, like, how honest kids can be.
Love them. Oh my gosh, I love it. I mean, I'm really not offended that, like, my little, like, 4-year-old niece is like, when are you going to have kids?
For sure. But it's annoying because, like, then you start, for me at least, I start overanalyzing. It's like, is that what their mom is telling them? Like, is their mom putting these ideas in their head? Like, I don't know. Like, that's how I
think mine is literally, I'm the only one in my family that hasn't had kids yet. And so we rented a house and there was like 23 people. And so I'm the only one without kids. And they're like, where's yours? I left them in a cage.
Literally.
With dogs.
Again, need to reiterate. Dogs.
Not children. But I do tell them I left them in the cage just because it's kind of funny to see their reaction.
Right.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what people say about what their answer is, too.
I know. I'm excited.
The baby question.
Send us your answers to what you say. Whether you really want kids badly or you don't. We would like to know what you say to people. Yeah. Next subject that I think is really difficult, especially for women in business.
Women in... Wait, can we get a tune behind that?
Women in business.
Oh, we kind of harmonized.
Oh, I kind of liked it.
That's cool.
Next subject is relationship statuses. And how I think that sometimes there's this stigma of, especially in a certain office environments, if you're a married woman and your significant other makes a decent amount of money and people know, that you're not as deserving of a raise or a pay bump or...
Oh, they make enough money. You don't need to make more.
Yeah. And that's just the mindset that they have. And I think that is so effed. It makes me so mad. Or, the flip side of it too, of okay, well, this woman is, she's single. She doesn't, no one's going to... want her, so she's hard to work with. She can't find a man. I've seen that side of it too, which I think is also messed up. Of just it's we just can't make freaking society happy.
Or people assume that you're not the breadwinner. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's funny. Assumptions. Mm-hmm. Assumptions are cute. You know what they say about assuming?
That's right.
I'm not going to say it because my mom listens and it has the ASS word.
We don't say curse words on here.
We don't see the curses.
No. Parents listen.
I know. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, I think that too, you and I, this is a really good example. Me and Chelsea have this really close friend. Mm-hmm. She personally is the breadwinner of their household.
Killing it.
Killing it. Makes a stupid amount of money. And she gets comments all the time, and she's really awesome. Doesn't rat her husband out. And she gets comments all the time of oh, your husband must treat you so well. Or ooh, he must be doing really well for himself. Look how well he treats you.
And he has a job. He makes good money, but people just assume. They don't know what her paycheck is.
Yeah, and I think that
she could be lying to us. I'm the breadwinner. I don't know. But still. That's besides the point.
I don't think that's true. Because why would she make that up?
She wouldn't.
Yeah.
She wouldn't. She's going to be like, why are you guys talking about me? I'm sorry.
It's fine. We don't like to say names because we don't like to talk about people without their permission.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's, I don't know, that story always makes me laugh.
It makes me laugh, too. People and their assumptions.
Yeah.
Donkey talk.
Mm-hmm. How do you think the best way to overcome, if you... me, for example, mm-hmm. It's a very personal example. I think that a lot of times I get in my head of asking for a certain amount of money or asking for a raise just because, I am with someone who has a secure job and makes, he's good. We're not freaking balling out of control, owning yachts or anything, but we...
Let me know when that happens.
I will. I'll invite you. We do pretty well. But I think that sometimes I feel really uncomfortable being well, I deserve X amount of money because,
I'm going to stop you right now. I guess this is what I think.
I'm ready.
You are your own person. He is his own person. Together you make a household. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he lives his life and you live yours and you're lucky enough to share it together. But that's your money too. So forget it. I'm worth this much. Pay me or not.
I love it.
Just ask for it. You don't have to be uncomfortable. Just ask for it. Forget it. Doesn't matter that he makes that much money or whatever. You should just freaking do it.
For sure.
Demand it.
Demand it. Oh, that's such a good point. Sometimes you have to make demands for yourself and not back down.
It's like when people have the MLMs or whatever, mm-hmm. and they're like, oh, I'm just doing a little. No, I'm doing this and putting all my work and my heart and love into it. Mm-hmm. I demand that you respect that it's what I do.
Completely.
But finish. I've cut you off.
No, I mean, that's pretty much what I was going to say. Is just, I think that sometimes we have to just recognize who we are and be secure in ourselves, because a lot of times you can't let people make assumptions about you. You have to make your assumptions about yourself.
Well, sometimes, yeah, when you're like, well, my husband makes X, so I don't know if I feel you're giving them a reason to assume something other than what you want.
Mm-hmm. Completely.
It's like if we want to relate it to sales, when you call in to a business and a receptionist answers and she asks you for all this information, instead of just like blah, 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 giving it up, you're just setting yourself up for more hurdles, So don't give yourself another hurdle to jump through. Don't set up another question to be asked, because as soon as they know, let me preface this. I'm not trying to be shady, because I know we talk about shady sales techniques. But like when you call, it's like, hi, I'm Chelsea. Is Jane there? Can I tell her you're calling? Yeah, this is Chelsea Dupre. Who's this in regards to? It's in regards to your X program. Okay. Or just don't be like, hi, this is Chelsea with XYZ and I'm calling for blah, blah, blah. Don't set yourself up for more questions to be asked, because people in general, I think we like, maybe not subconsciously do this, but set up those barriers makes it harder.
Oh, completely.
So if you go in with like, well, I already have this, so I don't know if no, you deserve it. You work hard. You should ask for it because you're worth it. You get to pick what you're worth.
Damn, that's a nugget.
Nugget!
That's a real nugget.
This is like a $1.99 10-piece McNuggeter. Okay. $1.99. Sorry.
I love that.
I think that's like Burger King, maybe?
For sure. Yeah. Well, I think that is such a good point, because when you make excuses for yourself, you're giving permission to other people to accept those excuses as valid excuses.
See, that's what I tried to say in that last 3-minute ramble.
I just like to wrap it up for you.
Thanks.
Like in a nice little bow.
Love it.
Yeah,
I provide the box, you wrap it up.
Of course.
Love.
But we had to take the journey to get to the box.
Which is your life. You've got to take that journey to get to the box, literally. I didn't realize how morbid that was.
Wow. You have to take the journey
to get to that box.
But the box, we're not just talking about a coffin.
Metaphorically speaking.
A metaphorical, treasure box.
Yeah.
Your
retirement community you're talking about.
Yeah. You have to take the journey to get there.
Yes.
And you can't make excuses for yourself. Oh, I was listening. Are you ready for this? I was listening to a podcast the other day that was talking about the power of the words that we put out.
Yeah.
And how literally they have done scientific studies on this, that your brain has a certain reaction, your neurons fire off.
Almost 30 that you're listening to?
No.
Okay, never mind. Keep going.
It was not. It was, I don't remember the person. This is a really horrible endorsement because I don't remember what it was. But
it's okay.
It was, he was talking about how literally when you say certain things like can't, won't, shouldn't, there's certain neurons that literally fire off in your brain that literally make you unable to do those things, because it's it's some sort of biological reaction. Because if you're saying that you can't do this or you won't do this, it's putting fear inside you to where it comes back from our caveman days of okay, I can't run after this tiger because it's gonna eat me. It's where it's trying to tell you don't do that. But it's very simple. They've literally done studies where they've recorded people and how they think or what they're saying and how their brain is reacting to it, which I think is so crazy.
That's pretty cool.
So literally, if you are, even if you're waking up one day and you're oh my God, I have to make 20 phone calls today or whatever your number is.
Yeah.
If you say oh, I can't do this, I'm scared, I'm annoyed,
or I don't want
to do it. Well, yeah, your body's going to not let you. So even if you secretly don't want to or you don't feel like it, even just saying I can do this. I've got this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done. Just saying that, even if you don't feel like it, puts your body in a better state of being to actually do it than if you were to say the negative things.
I am not a big fan of the fake it till you make it in a lot of things, especially with business, because you have to have a plan and be there.
Completely.
But this is a point where you should fake it till you make it. Fake that you want to be there until you believe yourself
Completely.
You know,
because eventually you will.
Eventually.
And you will know what you're doing and you will feel comfortable.
It's like being around a really happy person. You can't stay in a bad mood.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever just had a day where you're like, oh my God, I've had the most horrible morning, and you just are not in a good mood, and then you talk to one person and they completely just turn your day around just because their attitude?
Yep.
It's infectious.
Love it.
It's amazing.
So many things.
I know.
I love that.
I love it too. Can I talk about another article that I read that I thought was really crazy? Hold on. I literally am going to look it up right now because it literally enraged me to the point where I thought I was going to scream. So we were talking about women in business.
Yeah.
We were talking about like what women have to go through, yada, 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 right?
Okay.
Literally. They did a study. Washington State University came out with a study. Are you ready?
So ready. I can't handle it.
That said, I literally thought this was a reductress article. Like, I thought this was a sarcastic article. It's a real actual study. Where attractive businesswomen were scientifically proven to be viewed as less trustworthy femme fatales than unattractive businesswomen. Yeah, are you ready for that?
Oh, wait. Attractive women viewed as less trustworthy.
Yeah, because there's this idea that if you're attractive, that you like are hiding something, or you can be like manipulative. And they literally did a study where they sat down and they had people, they pulled up like just stock photos of like average looking women and like attractive looking women, and they made people take an eye test of like, who would you trust more? Like, who do you think would lie more often? Like, and literally every single person, male and female, both said that the attractive, there's a siren running by us. I'm really sorry if you can hear that. Say a little prayer for whoever they're going towards. But both male and female both said that the more attractive person was less trustworthy. And I think that is
sad.
So sad, because I think for the longest time too, there was this stigma of if you are really beautiful and you look really good, that you're going to get further in life because like, oh, people just think you're pretty, they'll hire you. And so now we're finding out the other part of it, where now it's like, if you're really pretty, people don't trust you and you're more likely to get fired. That's what the article was talking about how you're
real.
Which I think that's so messed up. It's like, what are we supposed to look like? I think women are just supposed to be these like robots. Just like make me into a robot and put me in a desk.
Did
don't
someone
make me look
else
like anything.
clear a sandwich?
Yeah.
Your paper's ready. You like those eggs scrambled? They're over easy. Dream wife. Leave it to Beaver.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really interesting article. And I think that, but this is what I thought was also interesting, is that they took the same people who took the test and said one woman was like, less or more likely to lie than the other. And then they put them in an environment and they told them to get in the mindset and think of the most secure relationship they've ever been in, where they thought like, this person can do no wrong, of like, this person is never going to leave me, never going to cheat on me, never going to whatever. And then they made them retake the test, and then the results were completely neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally proved that the only reason that any of these people thought that more attractive people were less trustworthy is from their own insecurities, which brings it completely back to what I was originally saying, is that every issue that we have with other people comes from our own issues that are inside of us, that we need to deal with ourselves.
So maybe if you're getting asked these questions, like when you're having a baby, this is a life-changing question.
Completely.
This is life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
This is another human you're taking care of. Your life is never going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big question to be asked.
Mm-hmm.
But if it bothers you, maybe it's, okay, why does this bother me?
Mm-hmm.
And go that route. Try to figure it out internally, and maybe it'll help turn something around in your life that'll only make you more happy and positive and comfortable in your own skin.
Yep. The more work we do on ourselves and the more work we do internally, the better that we feel and the better that we treat others.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that.
I like that a lot.
I love it.
Let's go get a massage.
Cool. I'm down.
My soul needs it.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yay. Well, thank you all for tuning in today.
Yes. Thank you so much on this deep-rooted soul search of a question.
Those were like some deep, we talked about deep stuff, like important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babies and things.
Babies and stuff.
Springtime.
It is springtime. Birds and the bees.
And all the little babies.
We were on the same mindset.
We really were.
Birds, bees. It's fine.
Birds, bees, spring, babies.
Yep.
And weddings.
Yep. Yes. Oh, it is wedding season. Which is good. I love weddings.
I do too.
Yeah. Free food, free drinks. I'm down.
All the things.
Invite me to all your weddings. Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, thank you all for tuning in today. We love you. Make sure to subscribe to whatever podcast platform you are listening to. Make sure to rate, review, give us all the good things. It helps our ratings. It helps us feel better about ourselves and love you more. Please follow us on Instagram, CJ and Cell Podcast. You can actually also follow me and Chelsea. I'm at Lee Meredith. Chelsea is
Mrs. Chelsea
Dupre.
Yep, that's a lot.
You just go to our podcast. We're tagged on there.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think that's it. Is that all the platforms that we have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, thanks for listening. We're a Public House Media production, and we love them. And thank you for all the hard work that you guys put in. And we'll see you next week
on CJ and Cell.